So, America, guess what? Donald Trump is winning, and he continues to win, right? This past Tuesday, he had huge victories in Michigan, huge victories in Mississippi. He's winning. Donald Trump is a winner. His quest to make America great again could be a reality. But before we go too far, let's take a moment to talk about the dangerous politics that Donald Trump is actually playing. Beyond the fact that at every one of his rallies, people are being assaulted and punched in the face, and there's video to prove it, so you don't have to take my word for it. He's really, and here's the thing, I understand why people are voting for Donald Trump. But beginning with his discriminatory messaging towards Mexicans, and now that, this David Duke debacle he had a couple weeks ago, he's established a very narrow-minded rhetoric that is targeting uneducated, impoverished, and an increasingly frustrated demographic. He has tapped into the blue-collar workers' anger. Now, you can do two things. You can tap into anger and turn anger into aspiration, as Kennedy did in the 60s, or even as Bill Clinton did in 1992. Or you can tap into energy and tap into energy and fear and double down on it and make it even more angry and even more fearful. And what Donald Trump is doing is just that. He has found this niche, right? He's found what Nixon labeled the silent majority, and he has tapped into their nerve. He's almost like an IV going into a vein, right? And he's gotten it. He's in the vein. He's tapped in. And instead of trying to work on decreasing the patient's blood pressure, what Donald Trump is actually doing is raising the patient's blood pressure. Now, raising the patient's blood pressure works right now, right? Because you're getting the high, they're out there, they're moving, they're voting for you, boom, boom, wham, bam, thank you. But eventually the heart's going to give out. And when you have a heart attack, or the heart gives out, starts pumping too much blood into the body, that anger will boil over. And that anger will turn into hate, and it'll turn into xenophobia, and it'll turn into racism. And all these things, America, will take our country in the wrong direction. I get it. There are people out there that are mad that we have a black man in the White House. There's people out there who feel as though the president hasn't done enough. There's people out there who feel as though the Republican Party is owned by millionaires and billionaires, and their voices aren't being heard. So now what we need as a country is to rally around a candidate or rally around a political agenda that will take that anger and turn that anger into aspiration. Turn that anger into making America, not even making America great again, but to making America even better. And Donald Trump has said, you know what? I'm going to choose the opposite. I'm a businessman. I'm a reality star. I'm going to speak hate. Like case in point, where he made a comment when he was interviewing with Anderson Cooper indicating that, well, yeah, in the Islamic faith, there's hatred for America, right? They just hate us. If you're Islamic, you hate us. And I always want to ask these people, even the Donald, there are a lot of people in this country, like Florida, for example. 500,000 Muslims live in the state of Florida, and they would call themselves Americans. So are you saying that these Americans, their religion hates them too? Like, I really want to dig down deep and figure out where they come up with this rhetoric. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, the truth of the matter is that what Donald Trump's campaign has managed to do in awakening this silent majority could possibly set our country on the wrong path. Right? We have so much division in our country, and it's not because President Obama is president. I think it's because since the president has become president, people feel as though we live in this post-racial society where you can say what you want, you could do what you want, you can kill a black man on the street, shoot him 16 times, and nobody's going to care because the president's black. Right? But let's think about how we got here. If you remember carefully, it was about 7 or 6 years ago where folks were saying the president's not an American. Right? The guy that the people elected overwhelmingly, as he was born in Kenya, and we need to see his birth certificate. Right? That was part of this movement. And it was perpetuated by media. It was perpetuated by people like Donald Trump. It got people angry. It got people upset. It created the Tea Party. Now, once again, we're doubling down on that same type of anger and that same type of fear, and it's generating this new silent majority. And this silent majority is basically saying that we are okay with hatred. We're okay with open hatred. And there's something wrong with that. In the 21st century, in 2016, when America is becoming one of the most diverse countries on earth, you would think one would embrace diversity. Every time we've seen economic growth in this country, it's because we found presidents that realized that we were better off when we came together than if we were apart. Right? LBJ's Great Society was based on this ideal that blacks and whites and Hispanics, and if you were Irish or if you were Jewish, we were all created equally, and we should all have equal protection under the law. And that is what spawned the Great Society, which created economic growth, which maintained America's great middle class. Donald Trump wants to destroy that, even though he has good campaign rhetoric.